Oh my god, some good news. Plus, Dragon Ball is sexist. Super dope. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. You know what that means? You do. Welcome to Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name's Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. We got some awesome news earlier this week, boys, and that is the announcement of Budokai Tenkaichi 4. What? I thought this shit existed online with like fan mods for the last 20 years. 16 years, I believe, has been the stretch since Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And man, I can totally appreciate how legendary that game is. But I gotta be honest, man. It's not the game that I really grew up playing. I feel like I sort of missed out on it, honestly. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm letting this music play out because arguably Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has one of the greatest opening songs of all time and any Dragon Ball media at all. But then listen to this part. Man. What a banger of a song. So Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is an interesting game to me, and it's a game that is like literally one of the most renowned, most loved in the franchise. And I'm about to tell on myself a little bit. So please excuse me for my ignorance, okay? I never really played Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I'm sure I played it like at a friend's house or something growing up. Not growing up, I mean like when it came out, I was graduating high school. So I played all the Budokai games. Budokai 1, 2, and 3. It was basically once a year those games came out. I think between like 2002 and 2004, I want to say. Budokai 3, I played the ever-living fuck out of. And have revisited fairly recently, like probably within the last 4 years, I want to say I've played Budokai 3. Like a remastered version of it for Xbox 360. They have that combo of Budokai 1 and Budokai 3. No Budokai 2. Kind of whack. They have like all the weird, cool fusions in that one, I believe. But Budokai Tenkaichi was a weird series to me for two reasons. And it's probably going to happen throughout the episode if I refer to the game series as Tenkaichi Budokai. Excuse me, okay? This is why it was confusing to me. I played the Budokai series. And I was like, okay, Budokai is short for Tenkaichi Budokai. It's just Budokai. Okay. I understand that. 2004, I get to high school and I sort of check out of Dragon Ball because I'm playing in a band. I'm playing acoustic shows. I'm playing backup in like my uncle's band at a very young age, weirdly. Like I'm doing a lot of music shit is my point. And I'm like, you can't be bringing this nerd shit up around adults or like girls that you want to try to, step to, put this nerd shit on the back burner for a few years. So I never played any of the Dragon Ball video games. I never watched any of OG Dragon Ball that was getting localized at that point in time in the States. Never did it. I just sort of checked out. I still loved it. Don't get me wrong. I still had all my shit for the most part and still continue to have said shit. But my point is, in that time, I didn't play Tenkaichi. I didn't play Budokai Tenkaichi 3. But hearing that announcement the other day, Budokai Tenkaichi 4, got me super excited. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man. I played the shit out of Budokai 3. And then I thought some more about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't Budokai 4. This is Budokai Tenkaichi 4. And it unlocked this memory of back then of me hearing about the new series. So I already played the fuck out of Budokai 3. I start high school. And they announced a new game, and the game is called Budokai Tenkaichi. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Is it like Budokai 4? No. It's a whole new series. In which case, why wouldn't you just call it Tenkaichi Budokai? Why would you call it Budokai Tenkaichi? That confuses me. That's not what it's called in the show. It's no longer just Budokai being short for Tenkaichi Budokai. It's Tenkaichi Budokai in reverse. Why are you doing this to me? You're plaguing my goddamn brain. That was just a weird memory that came back to me with that announcement the other day. But here's my point in rambling about all of this shit. I am insanely fucking excited for Budokai Tenkaichi 4, even though I've never really played Budokai Tenkaichi 3 much. I do plan to remedy that in the near future. Shout out to Victor, P3O Roman, for helping me figure out how I can do that with ROMs. I'm an old man. He is very technologically capable. So good on you, dog. I love you. Anyway, I'm going to play the shit out of BT3, but from what I understand, so like me struggling to understand or differentiate the difference or differentiate between the two series of Budokai and Tenkaichi Budokai, it like led me down the rabbit hole the other day. Like, what is the difference? Is it just a rehash of the Budokai series? Like, how much did I miss out on? And it does kind of seem like it is the next level up from the Budokai series, but does a lot of the same shit. But by the time they get to Budokai 3, or Budokai Tenkaichi 3, by the time they get there, the roster is just insane to the point where it's through all of Dragon Ball. And I could be Tao Pai Pai and Arale and shit. And I'm like, damn it, that's how I know I haven't played this fucking game. I don't remember being able to be Arale in any of the games I really played back in the day. And that's because I checked out in like that 4 fucking year span when all those games came out. And then I checked back in when Raging Blast 2 came out. And I feel like Raging Blast 2 was like a 3D successor to Budokai, but really it's a, Budokai Tenkaichi was a 3D successor to Budokai. And Raging Blast 2 is like, I don't know, it's little brother, it's cousin. It's a very similar kind of game style. I played the fuck out of Raging Blast 2. I just missed that little step in between. But it has me excited because the idea of having every single Dragon Ball character pretty much available in an upcoming game, I'm guessing, I'm really hoping, maybe 2024, early 2024. That'd be awesome. Maybe longer, I don't know, we'll see, but Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had over 150 playable characters when you consider all of the forms that you could do with all of them. Like all the Super Saiyan forms, all the big giant forms, all the different transformations certain villains go through, stuff like that. Over 150. When you think about all the characters they've added in just the anime for Dragon Ball Super, that is a fuck ton more characters, man. Easily over 200, probably closer to 250. And when you consider a bunch of transformations on top of them from multiple characters, are we pushing 300? Like, it could be a humongous, it will be a humongous roster. And I'm so really excited for it. I do sort of wonder what the release for characters will look like. I feel like a lot of the charm of those games back then was, and I don't know if this exactly translates to today. It probably won't in terms of economics, but I had fun playing Budokai when I was a kid because I had to grind it in every single fucking different scenario with every different character, every different thing you could do. And that's how you unlocked more and more characters. And that was fun for the most part. Sometimes it was tedious, but it felt rewarding at the end. And in 2023, in the age of DLC, I don't see how that translates to modern gaming. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people really just love the fighting aspect part of it and like the building your own character aspect part of it. And just having the ability to pick from basically anybody in Dragon Ball. But for me, it was always like, holy shit, this character's in this game. That's cool. Let's play around with him. See how this goes. Let's put him in other scenarios and see what the character interaction will look like. Like that was sort of interesting stuff to me when I'd play those games with massive character choices in them. Raging Blast 2 is actually another great example of that. Raging Blast 2, man, I feel like that's an underrated game. But like if you know, then you fucking know. Also, wonderful opening song. Which one is that song? Oh, it's that song that I always sing during Monopoly. Because, like, you draw a chance card in Monopoly, and then you go, take a chance, beat it now. Ba 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 ba. That's the Raging Blast 2 theme song. You're welcome. So yeah, anyway, I'm curious to see, first of all, will they just do anime only characters? Will they adapt manga characters if the anime is not backed by the time this game comes out? Because we're in March now, boys. we, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. Wait, yes, I do. Maybe I do. You guys want to hear a funny story real quick? I'll try not to digress too much, but the other day, went to the weed store. There's a girl there. Her name is Molly. She's very nice. She works there. She sees my Capsule Corp hat. We talk about Dragon Ball one day. I tell her about Super Dope. Not sure if she listens. If she does, hello, Molly. I'm waiting in line. She's like helping somebody else, but she sees me and she's like, yo, what's up? You excited for the new season of Attack on Titan? And I was like, oh. This is like maybe the third time she's asked me about an anime that I don't watch or really care about. And I know that she means well, and I'm never offended or like bothered that she's asked. I'm actually like, oh, she's a wicked nice girl. But I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't watch that one either. I know I should. And she's like, I give up. I'm going to stop asking about animes. And I look at her. I'm like, yo, Molly, it's like Dragon Ball and like 3 other random animes that nobody gives a shit about. I forgot entirely about My Hero Academia in the moment, which, by the way, holy shit. Whew, if you're keeping up, man, this season 6 is seriously one of the greatest seasons of anime of all time that I've ever seen anyway. And I'm sticking by that. Anyway, I look at her and I get like real flustered. Like, oh, I'm making her feel bad. I'm like, Molly, don't worry about it, dude. Like, it's like a spectrum thing, is what I blurted out in a panic. I was like, I just get really obsessed, you know? It's like a big commitment for me to take on a new, it's like a big commitment for me to take on a new anime. I know how much time it'll take out of my life, and I just don't have that time right now. Like, look how I am with Dragon Ball. It's pathetic. And like her face dropped a little bit. And she's like, oh, that's cool. I get it. I respect that. And I was like, yo, I think this girl thinks I'm autistic now. Which, I get. It's entirely possible. I got medical insurance now, so maybe we'll get a diagnosis. Anyway, back to Budokai. My point is, I'm curious if the enjoyability of Budokai will still be there without like that sense of achievement being I mean, they're gonna have to find a balance because they can't just take that sense of achievement of unlocking new characters and then replacing it straight up with your credit card. They can't do it. And I imagine it'll be a similar sort of model to Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2, I feel, is an underappreciated game. With Xenoverse 2, they have like a certain number of characters that you unlock through the campaign, other additional missions that you can play either online or whatever, download as updates are made to the game. And you can unlock characters that way. But then there's also the premium shit. And I just can't imagine a world in which Tenkaichi Budokai 4... Fuck, see, I did it again. I just don't envision a world where... I almost did it again. I just don't envision a world where Budokai Tenkaichi 4, there we go, doesn't have those types of, massive pay-for-play character kind of things going on. They have to find a good balance of it. They're going to have to find a good balance of maybe a few different things. Like, not only do you want your player base to feel like they've gotten their money's worth and they've unlocked like a good amount of characters through the actual gameplay of the campaign and other modes or whatever, but you're that premium thing is always going to be ever present. But if you want to keep the community engaged, this is how they do it in some of the mobile games I play. Marvel Strike Force, you guys are on my fucking shit list. I hate you so goddamn much. I'm so goddamn close to quitting. It's terrible. Anyway, you keep the community engaged by giving them like, I don't know, specific, events wherein they can only earn this character by participating in this event for a month. Like, I'm sure they do it in a million other video games. I just don't play other video games because I'm old and weird. So, they're just gonna have to find a good balance of that. But will they adapt, anime characters only? Will they choose to adapt manga characters like, say, Moro or Granola or Gas and those forms, like Ultra Ego Vegeta? I want to see that shit in a video game. And I want to see what the scenario looks like when he fights. Like, Ultra Ego Vegeta, I saw a tweet the other day. A kid suggested it, and I thought it was the coolest fucking idea. I wish I remembered who said it. I'm sorry. But they said the weaker he gets in terms of his health bar, the more damage he does. So, like, the closer he gets to death, the more you have to avoid his punches because he could fucking kill you instantly. There's just so many different things that you could do with so many different characters. Like, it's Dragon Ball. They already had 1 million characters in the last one. BT4 is going to be... Seriously, they could probably push 300 characters if they wanted. With all the transformations. If you adapted, like, every dumb sideshow in the fucking Tournament of Power, like, you could probably push... I mean, what's the Tournament of Power? It's teams of 10? It's like 80 people, right? Like, that's a lot of fucking... like, that's a lot of people right there. I guess 10 of them you take away because it's Goku and Co. So, still, 70 people on top of the 150 they had in BT3. You're already at 220 just from the Tournament of Power roster. Add in the Gods of Destruction, that's another 10. That's 230. Yo, you know what I want to see if they do, though? I want to see if they do this with BT4. Like, I'll ask you guys this. Before we move on to the next part, I'm trying to keep this episode fairly short because it's like 11:30 and I need to go to bed. But who is your wish, like your wish pick to see in this game? Like the most obscure, random, weird, one-off Dragon Ball character that you want to see in Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Let me know. Hit me on the Instagram or the Twitter or whatever. I don't care. I want to hear your pick for that. Because I'm curious if they'll pull from other video games. Will there be appearances from characters from Super Dragon Ball Heroes? Super Dragon Ball Hero. I'm not going to drop the music. I'm trying to keep the editing to a minimum today. All the production was up front, okay? Now you're just hearing me. Get the fuck over it. Will they play around with Super Dragon Ball Heroes? Dragon Ball Legends characters like what's that dude's name? Shallot? Or even, what the fuck's his name? Beat, I believe, is like the avatar character from Super Dragon Ball Heroes, like the no-name everyman that you sort of start as. Like, I believe he's been pulled into other Dragon Ball media, as has Shallot. I think it'd be cool. What about the Dragon Ball Fusions game from Nintendo DS, or on Nintendo DS, I should say? Dude, I'm moving right now. So I'm like going through a bunch of boxes and shit and like finding a bunch of shit that I've just had sitting in boxes since the last time I moved a couple of years ago. And I have a PSP and a Nintendo DS, and I'm not really sure how or why. I'm not really sure where they came from. I think maybe they were my little brother's a few years ago. My mom almost threw them out, but I saved them. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I need to figure it out. But also, do I? I just kind of want to figure out which Dragon Ball games I should play for PSP. And DS. DS has some games. Fusions. That's how we got here. Dragon Ball Fusions. A lot of weird-ass fusion characters in that. Will we see any of those in Budokai Tenkaichi 4? I don't know why I just said it like that. Sorry. But let me know what you think. I want to hear what your deep cut picks are for the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 roster. If it was in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, don't fucking pick it, because I assume it's already going to be there. I want to hear some weird shit. And you know what? I bet you're going to pick Manaka and think it's funny and that his nipples will be like overly animated and whatever. No. Don't pick Manaka, because I'm going to knock you out if you pick him. That was good, right? Anyway, trying to keep this one short. I just wanted to talk about this. I almost made an episode about it last week, but I was so mentally like wrecked. If you want to know why I was mentally wrecked, patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. Go sign up for $5 and listen to the fucking 5-minute pre-show. Listen, some dude, he's a YouTuber, much more successful than me. So I should have written his name down. But again, I don't really fucking care generally, but also I don't care specifically in this instance because they made a video because they saw like 5 tweets after the last Dragon Ball Super chapter wherein I guess, maybe kind of has a crush on Trunks of the present day, even though it's because she remembers future Trunks who's much older than him, and she has like this weird flashback and in no real way affirms any feelings for the current day Trunks. I guess because that happened, like 5 people on Twitter, like maybe 5. I think actually it was 3, but I'll say it's 5, okay, for the benefit of everyone, but really no one at the same time. This dude made a YouTube video about how Dragon Ball is super sexist and has like this long history of taking all of its women characters and making them housewives, essentially. And they're about to do the same thing with Mai based on her actions in the last chapter. I say a lot of stupid shit. I do a bunch of dumb shit. This, I think it's a YouTube video, in my opinion, is... I want to say it's dumb shit, but I know that from a clickbait perspective, it worked. And obviously, if I'm talking about it and I've seen a bunch of other people post about it as if it's a real thing, it obviously worked, right? Visibility is key here. That's really the game. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter how you get the visibility. It just matters that you are seen, okay? When you title something like that, Dragon Ball is sexist or whatever, however you want to try to frame it, it's going to get views, going to get clicks. People are going to talk about it. And here I am talking about it briefly because I don't think it warrants much attention at all. The Mai thing is where it stems from, and I do not agree with their assessment based on her actions in the last chapter. So that's first. And then secondly, I just don't agree with that take at all for many of the female characters in Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball generally speaking. I don't really agree with it with almost any of them, except the one that I will 100% give you, but I think you could also argue that it's perhaps more of a cultural thing, and she's a very traditional sort of woman, and, you know, she is the fucking princess, like Ox King, like, you know what I mean? Is Chi-Chi. I'll give you Chi-Chi. She hung up her fucking badass razor blade helmet to like cook for Goku and Gohan and raise her kids. That's a decision women make all the time, by the way. Just saying. Not like she was gun to her head. That was something she actively wanted to do. And again, that was a decision made back in 1989 or whenever the fuck the Dragon Ball Z manga started, would that have been 89 or? Well, I'm dumb. It's all Dragon Ball, dumbass. Look at Dragon Ball fan. Anyway, my point is I'll give you Chi-Chi. The rest of them, though, and it's funny because it was International Women's Day yesterday, so the real Blackarot, God bless your soul, sir. Enjoy some of your memes. He shared a meme of a bunch of Dragon Ball characters, women, for International Women's Day. So I just saved it. And I just thought like I'd run through some of the characters on here. I hope that I know most of their names. Some of them are from like Ribrianne's crew. Although I do remember one of Ribrianne's crew's name is Rosie. So I'm like 2/3 of the way there. Anyway, Chi-Chi I'll give you. Bulma? Like day one fucking Bulma? Richest, smartest scientist in the goddamn world, Bulma briefs. Okay, she had a baby or two with a Saiyan warrior. Good for her, I guess. But like, did she relinquish her identity and give up what she's done to just raise her kids since meeting Vegeta? She's raised her kids while meeting, since, having started her relationship with Vegeta, sure. But, like, did she stop being a scientist at any point in time? Honestly, I think the one time you could point to Bulma stopping her scientific nature, and even still, she's just, like, hunkered down in a fucking weird capsule bunker in Namek, is the Namek saga. She's the goddamn worst in that saga and that saga alone. She's pretty much just there to be a damsel. Bulma in the Frieza saga the Namek saga is hands down the worst Bulma. Other than that, Bulma's pretty engaged in a lot and like pretty integral to many parts of the story. She had kids. She got married. Doesn't mean that's all she is now. I'm sorry that you think that of her. Dumbass. Videl. This was another example that was given in this video. Sure, Videl got married. She had a baby. What else does she do? She like runs a martial arts, like a self-defense studio. And she's so busy to the point where she has to ask Piccolo to go pick her daughter up at daycare. So tell me, is she giving up her career to be a mom? Or is she out here trying to be independent woman and having Namekian fucking nanny take care of shit for her? Because I'm pretty sure we just saw that it was the second one in the most recent movie. Launch or lunch, whichever you prefer. We miss you. I wish you'd come back. I like to imagine that she's just still out there in the desert somewhere robbing people. Did she give it up to be a housewife? No, she didn't. She's probably robbing somebody right now as I say this to you. Gine is on this picture, Goku's mom. It's not really a fair like discussion one way or the other. We just don't really know anything about her outside of, Bardock's wife, Goku's mom. Android 18. This is another one. Because she has a fucking daughter, she's just a housewife. They turned one of the badass warriors in the world into a housewife, into a mom. Yes, they did. She wears a tracksuit. She's got a child. She's got a husband who works like an honest 9-to-5 thing as a cop now. Yes, she's married with a child. Does Android 18 let that be the only thing that she does? I mean, she's still out there trying to hustle scams and shit, making money for whatever reason. I love that about her personally. It's one of my favorite things about Android 18. And she still whoops ass. And she still apparently has like a good relationship with her brother, even though it's mostly off camera. Like, women can have children and get married and still have identities of their own and not just have you throw them into the bracket of, oh, they're married, never mind. They can't be a badass, cool character now because they're a mom. Because they're a martial artist mom. No, not cool. If she didn't have the kid, she'd still be cool. If she didn't have the husband, she'd still be cool. Like, it's so fucking dumb. Some of the other characters on here, Caulifla, Kale, they're lesbians. Straight up, let's talk about it. Nah, I've already talked about it a million times 5 years ago. You can go back to the beginning of Dragon Ball Super Dope and listen to those episodes. Ribrianne, is she married? I know she loves love and all that lovey shit, but she's probably a lesbian too. Vados, that bitch ain't married. She's literally a fucking angel. She's the attendant of a god of destruction. Hades, I believe, is the other god of destruction. That's her. And then what's the other one? It's Margarita. Is it Margarita or is it Marcita? The one with the ponytails. She's an angel attendant as well. And then Mai is over here. The genesis of this. Also they have Urani Baba on this picture, which is hilarious. Because she ain't married. That bitch has been out there floating on a crystal ball her whole goddamn 600-year life. And she's fine with it. She don't need no man. But then also Mai is on this, which is the beginning of this whole stupid rant. Like, did you really get any indication that she was about to give up? Like, they went out of their way to like show that she's a very talented and capable scientist and technologist or like whatever with like robotics and machinery, however you want to phrase it. I don't know the right fucking word. I make a Dragon Ball podcast. Think I know the right words? I don't know any words. That's the problem. Not only do they do all of that for her, but they also like give her a laser gun and a suit of armor and make her decide, fuck this, I'm going to catch Hito myself. Yo, do you think they'll put Hito in Budokai Tenkaichi 4? And if they do, does he have he has a sick ass purple suit, but also does he have the B, Hachimaru? I hope that he does. Maybe I'll just play as Hachimaru. Yo, did they ever let you play? Probably not, right? It's a Dr. Slump character where like whenever he crosses over into Dragon Ball, it's like a little fly, but he's like dressed like Superman, and they just call him Superman for like sour or whatever. Maybe he's not the size of a fly. Was that motherfucker in Budokai Tenkaichi 3? Probably not, because like the Superman license. Anyway, I just totally got off track. Mai is fine. She got a laser gun, a suit of armor. She can like fix stuff. She's apparently really smart and works for Bulma. I don't think she's about to lay like 14-year-old Trunks. She's certainly not going to marry him and stay the fuck home for her teenage boyfriend for the rest of her goddamn life. So chill the fuck out. I can't believe I just talked about it for 12 minutes. I think I did it just because it's so incredibly stupid to me that like this person saw 3 tweets about it and was like, that's enough outrage to warrant the making of this video. And a bunch of people talked about it. I forget, one of the other Dragon Ball podcasts did it too. Like, and I was like, dude, this isn't even a story. They're like, yeah, but it's a good way to educate people. I'm like, educate people on what? What are you educating? Because I'm pretty sure that they were trying to say like, this is a valid concern or whatever. I'm like, is it? Is it? And like, even if it was, you could still explain a lot of it away just probably by the cultural differences between the West and the East. However, I think in a lot of the cases people were pointing to, it's like, do you know Dragon Ball? Do you watch it? Have you watched it? Or are you just aware that making Dragon Ball content is always good for an algorithm? Is that what it is? Like, back up, dog. I'm trying to speak knowledgeably on shit that you don't give enough of a fuck about to live with. I live with it. I sound like one of those right now. And by one of those, I mean like one of those really rude people. I get it. I'm like an elitist or whatever. I don't mean to be. It's just how I am. It's a defense mechanism to make myself feel self-assured of all the weird shit I do. And by weird shit I do, I mean talk about Dragon Ball to you for 40 minutes at a time. So that's pretty much the episode this week, guys. Very minimal editing. Just to round it out, like y'all see Ant-Man? I'm not gonna ruin it if you haven't seen it, but I didn't love it. No, it was visually exhausting, in my opinion. And it was a very brown and gray and black movie with like a lot of like space shit going on. There were some cool scenes and some cool moments. Some funny stuff happened. But a lot of it was just like, this is very poorly done. It felt like the fucking second draft of a script with some of the dialogue. It was like so contrived and so cringy at moments. I was like, ooh, how long is this bitch? Can we leave yet? For real. Post-credit scene is pretty much the one thing where I was like, ooh. So that's Ant-Man. Mandalorian, first 2 episodes. If you're not watching it, you should. Jon Favreau has reminded me why he is the guy to make the most successful Star Wars television shows. Although, full caveat to that, I have not watched Andor, although I know that I should. Anything else? Oh, you know what, dude? Rayshawn's visiting next weekend. He's coming to visit Rhode Island. Me and Kelly are going to try to record a couple episodes of the Advice Pod with him. But he's going to like stay the weekend at a hotel nearby, and we're going to like hang out, and I'm going to show him around. I'm excited as fuck. Maybe we'll do something on one of the socials, like an Instagram Live or something. I don't know. But I'm excited as hell to see Rayshawn and hang out with him in person for a couple days. Make some cool podcasts in person. And speaking of making podcasts, like I said something about it on the Patreon earlier, and I'll just finish it up here. I had somebody, longtime fan of the show, you know who you are, reach out to me the other day and say, have you ever considered reviewing every episode of Dragon Ball in order? And I was like, No, not really, man. Like, it's like 6 other podcasts that do that probably. And like for me personally, like I mean, I've done long stretches of episodes. We did the last whatever 30 episodes of Dragon Ball Super because we had the worst timing with the start of the show ever. But we did a bunch of the dubs. I did a bunch of OG Dragon Ball on Patreon, like the first 20-ish episodes or whatever. And it's fun, but like it's a task, dude. And I don't always like the podcast that way. I like to be able to talk about random shit like Budokai Tenkaichi 4 rosters that ain't gonna come out for a fucking year. For as long as I fucking want. So I was like, nah, man, there's like a bunch of shows that do that. He's like, oh, well, I just want to give you more ideas for content so I can hear your show every week. You need to make more episodes. And I was like, what? Do you listen to the show? I've been saying it for the last few episodes, and this is how I'm going to close the episode. I love that you're here at the end of the episode for me to vent to you for the next 60 seconds. But I would love to make the show every single week right now. And trust me, I have an idea like every single week. I'm like, oh, that'd be a good one. Dude, the Head Shala episode, I've had the music lined up for that for almost a month now. I have some really fucking good picks for that one, honestly. I'm super pumped to do that one soon. But honestly, I've said it a few times and I just want to say it again for everybody. I'm sorry shit's a little inconsistent at the moment in terms of release schedules, but the time just ain't there at the moment. I wish that it was. Also, besides my a billion ideas that I have every week, maybe not a billion, but at least one, I also have a very long list of ideas that you guys just submitted to me last month. I did an entire episode about it where I just ran through the ideas and kind of talked about them briefly and, put them on a list and determined which ones I was pumped to try to do in the future. So please don't think that it's from a lack of like, I don't know, planning or content plans or goals. It's really just from a lack of time and energy in a lot of cases. The last week it's been energy. Again, if you want to know all about that, Patreon. But it's mostly about time, and I'm hopeful that it'll get a little bit easier in the coming months. But I appreciate everybody sticking with me here through the last, I don't know, how long has this been going on? A long time. I appreciate you sticking around for that. And yeah, I hope you rate and subscribe. If this is your first time checking out the show, welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I was a little too ranty today, but you know what? That's just how it is. You got a good overview. Yo, I think Victor did like an impression of me, like a text impression of me in the Discord the other day. And I was very confused by it. But I'm pretty sure I just said one of the phrases that he said in my impression of him. If you want to get in on the Discord, there's a link in the show notes to join that. And yeah, that's going to do it. Dragon Ball Subido. It's going to be a little bit of an unceremonious exit today. You want to know why? You're going to see why, bitch. Super dope. That was forced. Please subscribe. Don't unsubscribe. Bye. Oh, also, if they don't get Hironobu Kageyama to do the theme song for this goddamn video game, I'm a riot. And I expect y'all to help me. And if you don't, we're not friends anymore. Please subscribe. Bye.